What if the real battle for global power isn't happening in Europe or Asia, but in Africa, a continent rich in resources, full of potential, and now at the center of a silent competition between two global forces, China and the West. But this isn't a war with weapons. It's a war of influence, a war of investments, a war for future. The question is simple: who really controls Africa? Africa is no longer just a developing region. It is one of the most important continents in the global economy. With over 1.4 billion people, a rapidly growing youth population, and vast natural resources, Africa represents the future of labor, markets, innovation, and perhaps most importantly, power. Countries around the world are beginning to realize this, and they're acting fast. Over the last 2 decades, China has made one thing clear: Africa matters. From highways in Kenya to railways in Ethiopia to ports across the continent, China has invested billions of dollars into African infrastructure. But these investments come with questions. Are they partnerships or leverage? China often provides loans for large projects. And when countries struggle to repay, control over key assets can become part of the negotiation. Critics call this debt diplomacy. Supporters call it development. Either way, China's presence in Africa is undeniable. The West, especially the United States and Europe, has long had influence in Africa through aid, trade, and political partnerships. But in recent years, that influence has been challenged. Now, the West is responding, launching new investment programs, strengthening diplomatic ties, promoting democratic values. Unlike China, Western engagement often comes with conditions, governance standards, human rights expectations, transparency requirements. This creates a different kind of relationship, one based not just on economics, but on ideology. So where does that leave Africa? Caught between two global powers? Not exactly. African nations are not passive players. They are making choices. Some countries partner more with China for infrastructure. Others align with the West for governance and trade. And many are doing both, balancing relationships, maximizing benefits, playing the global game on their own terms. This is not a story of control. It's a story of strategy. At the center of this competition lies one key factor: resources. Africa holds cobalt, lithium, oil, rare minerals, all essential for modern technology and clean energy. Countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo are critical to global supply chains. Whoever secures access to these resources gains a major advantage in the future economy. This is where the competition between China and the West becomes most intense. Africa is also transforming economically. The African Continental Free Trade Area is creating a massive internal market, reducing reliance on external powers, increasing regional trade, and strengthening Africa's global position. This changes the game, because the more Africa trades within itself, the less dependent it becomes on outside control. But challenges remain. Debt levels are rising in some countries. Infrastructure projects don't always deliver expected returns. Governance issues can limit progress. And global competition can sometimes create pressure instead of opportunity. The balance is delicate, and the stakes are high. So, who really controls Africa? China? The West? Or neither? The truth is, control is shifting. Africa is no longer just a region to be influenced. It is becoming a player in global power dynamics. And as its economies grow and unite, its voice becomes stronger. This isn't just a story about China versus the West. It's a story about Africa's future. A future where the continent has the power to choose its partners, define its path, and shape the global order. Because in the end, the real question is not who controls Africa, but whether Africa will control its own destiny. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more global stories, and comment below. Do you think Africa is being controlled, or is it taking control?